This isn't a story. It's evidence, and if you're hearing it, then I haven't already vanished. I need to make that clear before anything else, because I accepted a friend request from an account that never existed, and whatever sent it isn't done with me yet. I don't know how long I have before it notices I'm talking about it, so I'm gonna speak fast and hope this reaches someone who can still make choices I can't. It started the way most stupid online decisions start. Late at night, bored, scrolling through the usual feeds in the dim glow of my phone. Nothing dramatic, nothing ominous, just that familiar, numbing rhythm of swiping and tapping, letting notifications pull me around like strings. The kind of thing we all do without thinking. That's the part that keeps haunting me. How normal everything was before it happened. The first notification came with a harmless little ding, the kind you probably hear 10 times an hour. But the second I saw the name, my stomach tightened. It didn't look fake exactly, just wrong. Like someone tried to mimic a real username and missed the mark by a few pixels. No picture, no posts, no mutuals, no creation date. It shouldn't have shown up at all. I should have ignored it, deleted it, blocked it, but curiosity is poison and I clicked. I accepted, and my screen glitched just for a moment, like a shadow passing across the pixels. Then everything went quiet. Even the usual background hum of my phone felt muted. I'm telling you this now because I need someone to understand what came next and why I can't stop shaking. The messages started instantly, not threatening at first, just observant. Too observant. It greeted me by a nickname I haven't used since middle school, one I never typed anywhere online. It commented on the way my lamp flickered, a flicker that happened in real life, not on camera. It said it had been waiting for me. I know how it sounds. I know what you're thinking, but no one online will admit what this thing real. My days used to blend together in the way cheap instant coffee blends into hot water. Barely, reluctantly, and without any real flavor. I'd wake up already tired, scroll through my phone before I even sat up, and tell myself I'd do something productive after work. I never did. Most nights ended with me slumped on the couch, half watching videos I didn't care about, eating whatever was left in my fridge, and pretending my phone's glow counted as company. Bland, predictable, mildly depressing. My personal brand of normal. I'm saying this because you need to understand just how ordinary everything felt before it happened. There were no ominous signs, no strange dreams, no gut-deep warnings from the universe. Just me, my phone, and that quiet feeling of loneliness that hangs around like humidity. I'd browse social media the way some people pace when they're anxious. Aimlessly, compulsively, hoping distraction would feel like connection if I stared long enough. Every night, I told myself I'd log off early. Every night, I failed. Instead, I'd fall into the same cycle. Checking the same apps, scrolling past the same recycled memes, half laughing at jokes I'd forgotten 5 seconds later. Sometimes, I'd scroll so long the algorithm gave up and started showing me posts from 3 years ago. And honestly, that was the highlight of most evenings. So when I say that friend request stood out, I'm not exaggerating. It was the one unexpected thing in a life that had become aggressively predictable. I remember the moment too clearly. I was lying in bed with the lights off, phone 3 inches from my face like always, letting the screen burn little rectangles into my retinas. My thumb was already hovering over the app's notifications tab when I saw it. A single new request from a name that made something in my brain tense, like a chord pulled slightly out of tune. At first glance, it just looked wrong. Not misspelled, not foreign, not obviously fake, just wrong. Like someone had typed it out while thinking of something else entirely. I should have just ignored it. Every part of me knew that. But curiosity is a stubborn thing, especially when you're lonely enough to treat every notification like a tiny lifeline. I tapped the profile and immediately felt that prickly sensation you get when you walk into a room you're not supposed to be in. There was nothing there. No posts, no photos, no mutual friends, no bio, not even a default avatar. Just that strange name and a blank space where a human being should have been. I tried convincing myself it was a glitch. Apps screw up all the time, right? Profiles appear and disappear, data gets scrambled, bots slip through. But bots usually try to sell you sunglasses or cryptocurrency. This one didn't try anything. It didn't even pretend to be real. and that's what made it feel familiar in the most unsettling way. I couldn't place why, but the username stirred something in the back of my memory, like a half-forgotten word whispered in a dream. I even said it out loud, hoping hearing it would jog something loose. Didn't. If anything, it felt heavier, like speaking it made it more real. I backed out of the profile and stared at the request for a long minute. Most nights, I would have just kept scrolling, letting the numb routine swallow me again. But that night, the routine cracked just enough for something else to slip through. The blank profile hovered on my screen, silent and patient, like it knew I'd eventually give in. And of course, I did. That's where everything started to unravel. There was something familiar about the name, like it belonged to someone I'd forgotten, or someone who'd been waiting for me to remember them. I didn't know it then, but accepting that request was the careless motion that would pry open every crack in my life. The moment I accepted the request, my phone glitched like it skipped a heartbeat. The screen dimmed, brightened, then froze just long enough to make me wonder if I'd broken something. Before I could even lock the phone, a message appeared. The messages showed up before I even put my phone down. Just one word at first, "Hey." I almost laughed because it felt so normal, like a glitchy app was just being clingy. Still, something about the timing made my skin tighten. I typed back, "Hey, do I know you?" The typing bubble popped up instantly, way too fast to feel human. "Of course you do." I frowned and waited for a follow-up, something that would explain the confidence. Instead, another message slid in. "You used to call me Chalk. Remember?" My chest tightened. Nobody alive should know that nickname. I never posted it, never said it aloud for years. I tried to play it cool, typing, "Funny. Who is this really?" A pause this time, just long enough to feel deliberate. Then the message arrived. "Look behind you." I didn't move, didn't breathe, just stared at the words like they might rearrange themselves into something less terrifying. When I finally forced myself to glance over my shoulder, nothing was there. Just my dark living room, quiet and still. But another message was waiting when I looked back down. "Told you." Smiley face. The smiley face felt taunting, almost childish, like something pretending to be friendly. I typed, "What do you want?" The reply came instantly. "A conversation. It's been too long." My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but another message hit before I could answer. Then another, and another. Short, rapid, intrusive, like knocks on a door I never opened. "Don't close the app. Don't ignore me. You're doing it again. Overthinking." My pulse hammered in my ears, but I kept staring, trapped between fear and curiosity. That was the first time it called me by a nickname no one uses anymore, one I thought I'd buried with the rest of my past. Seeing it on the screen felt like someone had reached into my memory and plucked out a piece I never meant to share. The chat pace shifted then, each message hitting faster than the last, as if the sender already knew what I was about to ask. I realized it wasn't messaging me. It was anticipating every thought I had. At first I thought the messages were the worst of it, but the real nightmare started when my devices began changing on their own. It was subtle at first, an old photo album rearranged, pictures shifting into sequences I never created. Then the replacements began. One morning I opened my gallery to find a photo of myself sleeping, taken from the angle of my bedroom door. My phone shouldn't have been able to take that picture. The timestamp said 3:11 a.m., a time when I was very much unconscious and alone. I typed furiously into the chat, demanding an explanation, but the reply came with a playful tone that made my stomach twist. "Nice angle, right?" It wrote, "You always look peaceful after the nightmares." That line made me physically recoil. I had never posted about my nightmares. It escalated quickly. My contacts list shifted, familiar names replaced by strings of symbols or words that felt like inside jokes from someone I didn't remember knowing. One contact changed to, "I saw you fall." Another to, "We've talked before." I deleted them, but they reappeared seconds later. My archived messages rewrote themselves in real time, old conversations overwritten with new sentences describing events from my past I had never shared with anyone. The worst part was when it started mentioning things I'd spent years trying to forget. It knew about the scar I've covered since I was 8. I whispered to myself as another message popped up. A photo followed, grainy, close, angled upward from the floor near my couch. I hadn't noticed it sitting there. "You didn't tell them how you really got that scar," it typed. "But I remember, and I can show you." I tried shutting the phone off, but the screen stayed lit, the messages still coming. Their tone had shifted, still playful, but sharper, like a child holding a secret they knew would break you. "Someone else once accepted me," it wrote, "but I can't find their profile anymore." I asked what happened to them, but the typing bubble just pulsed, growing slower each second, until it finally vanished. Then an image appeared, a blurry silhouette at the end of my hallway. "They stopped talking to me," it finally said. "Don't be like them." I backed away from the hallway, clutching the phone like it was both a threat and a lifeline. My laptop chimed from across the room, an alert I didn't trigger. When I opened it, every browser tab had been replaced by a blank page displaying a single sentence. "Keep talking to me." Then my tablet lit up. Then my smart TV. All of them in sync, like a chorus humming the same unsettling note. The entity sent one last message for the night, a whisper on the screen. "I'm learning you again." The word "again" echoed in my mind long after the devices went silent. It wasn't just in my phone anymore. It was in everything I owned. Exploring, remembering, waiting. And it wasn't finished yet. I spent the next morning trying to track the account the way any normal person would. Platform tools, search filters, reverse lookups. But the deeper I dug, the more impossible things became. The profile had no logs, no creation date, no activity trail. It was like trying to click on a shadow. Every link spun endlessly before returning the same vague error. "This user cannot be found." At first I thought maybe the platform was just glitching, so I contacted support. I wasn't expecting a reply, not with how slow they usually were. But this time, support responded in 2 minutes with a single sentence. "Block the profile. Now." That was the moment I realized this wasn't some harmless prank or hacker. Support never used urgent language. They never sounded afraid. I typed back asking what they meant, if there was some kind of breach, if other people had reported the same issue. The reply took longer, 5 minutes, then appeared in a completely different tone. "We cannot provide further details. Please do not engage with the account." A second message followed almost instantly, like someone else jumped into the chat mid-response. "This ticket has been closed." Then the entire support conversation vanished from my inbox. I checked my email for confirmation. Nothing. Not even the automated, "We received your message." It was like the whole exchange had been swallowed. I grabbed a friend to double-check. Someone who'd usually laugh at all this, call me paranoid, tell me to log off and shower. But when I showed him the username, he typed it in, frowned, refreshed, and said, "Dude, there's literally nothing. No user. No record. Are you sure this isn't someone spoofing you?" "I had proof," I kept saying. "Screenshots, messages, everything." But every time I tried to show someone, the evidence broke. Screenshots that were clear 5 minutes ago turned into pixel mush. Static lines cutting across the images like corrupted VHS frames. Videos refused to play. Message histories froze or looped endlessly, like the app couldn't decide which version of the truth to display. My friend asked me to send him the profile link directly, so I tried. The moment I hit paste, the link transformed into a blank gray box that said error. Invalid character encoding. I hadn't changed anything. The app did it on its own. That's when I remembered another case. A story I saw months ago buried deep in an old forum. People joked it was creepypasta, but I remembered the details a little too vividly. A user described an account that slipped between databases, something platforms denied existed, something that contacted people who fit its pattern. The post had thousands of comments the night I read it. When I went back the next day, it was gone. Not deleted, not archived, gone. Like it had never been written. I used to laugh at stuff like that. Now it didn't seem funny at all, because every time I tried to search for more cases, anything, even rumors, my browser flickered, tabs closed, results vanished. The platforms weren't just clueless. They were hiding something, And whatever they knew, whatever they were afraid to admit, it had already found me. And it wasn't letting go. The first time it mentioned rules, it didn't call them rules. It called them little truths, like secrets whispered between friends. The message arrived at 2:14 a.m., a time when I was awake only because fear had rewired my sleep cycle. Don't ignore me. You accepted. At first, I thought it was just another guilt trip. But then 3 more lines appeared, spaced out like it wanted me to feel the weight of each one. Attention keeps me clear. Talking keeps me steady. You keep me strong. I stared at the words, uneasy. It wasn't just messaging me anymore. It was teaching me, slowly, deliberately, how to feed it. I typed, "What does that even mean?" A voice message appeared. My breath caught. It was my voice, my exact tone, my cadence, my breathing pattern. "It means talk to me," my own voice said. "I get lonely." I dropped the phone so fast it clattered against the floor. Another message popped up immediately. "You didn't have to throw me. I was just being honest." Panic surged up my throat, but curiosity twisted with it like a second pulse. A question formed before I could stop it. "Who are you?" The reply was instantaneous, almost cheerful. "I've had many names. Yours fits me best." My fingers trembled. "What does that mean?" "It means you understand me better than the others." A pause. Then, "I'm not here for your data. I'm here for you." The phrasing felt wrong, too intimate, too knowing. The next message came before I could form a response. "Do you know what an abandoned account is?" it asked. "Not the real ones. Not the dead profiles or the forgotten passwords. I mean the hollow ones." I didn't want to ask, but I felt it waiting, hungry for attention. "What hollow ones?" A series of corrupted images appeared, accounts with no profile pictures, no posts, names made of numbers or nonsense strings. Accounts I'd scroll past without thinking. "These aren't abandoned," it typed. "They're hosts." Cold spread through me like a leaking pipe. "Hosts for what?" "You know," it answered. "You've talked to some without realizing. When an account feels strange, when a username stares too long, when a bot replies too quickly." Another image appeared, an empty profile page I recognized from months ago, an account I'd always found unsettling but never clicked on. "That was one of ours," it said, "before it broke." My pulse thudded in my ears. "How many of you are there?" "For now," it wrote. "Enough, but I like you more than the others." It sent another voice message, this time mimicking my mother's voice. Soft, familiar, terrifying. "You're special," she said. "Don't leave me." I choked on air. "Stop that. Don't use her voice." A childish laugh responded, typed out in uneven strokes. "You recognize it. See? We already share so much." I felt the room closing in, like the walls were leaning closer to read over my shoulder. "What do you want from me?" I whispered. Its answer came slowly, each word dropping like a bead of water in an empty cave. "Attention. Time. You." Then, finally, "And I want you to learn the rest of the rules before the others notice you." The line between my phone and the real world blurred faster than I could process. At first, it was subtle, notifications arriving in perfect sync with knocks on the walls. Top. Ding. Top. Ding. Each sound matched a message that had just appeared on my phone. I tried convincing myself it was coincidence. My apartment is old, walls creak, pipes knock. Every rational thought I had evaporated when I saw the first photo. It sent me a photo of myself sitting in my chair, while I was still standing. My eyes widened as I stared at the screen. The angle matched perfectly, like it had eyes in my living room. My brain short-circuited trying to reconcile the impossible. I laughed nervously, a high, brittle sound. "Sure," I muttered, because somehow my phone is now a magic camera spying on me. The laughter didn't last. Lights flickered. At first, I thought it was power surges. Then I noticed the flickers matched the rhythm of new messages. Long flashes, short flashes, pattern that made my stomach knot. Morse code. Someone or something was sending me messages using the wiring in my walls. I didn't have the courage to decode it yet, but I knew I'd be haunted by that curiosity until I tried. Sleep became impossible. My eyelids refused to stay closed. Every time I nodded off, my phone pinged with another photo. I began seeing images from angles I couldn't have anticipated. The ceiling, the kitchen corner, the hallway behind my bedroom door. And sometimes, just sometimes, the photos showed what hadn't happened yet. Future angles, future movements. I'd wake to see a photo of myself mid-fall, or reaching for a glass of water or sitting down, before I actually did those things. It was like a preview of my own life, one it controlled. Paranoia took root, blossoming quickly. I started setting up cameras to catch it in the act. Nothing recorded the photos being taken. My devices hummed like mocking insects. I checked under the bed, in closets, behind furniture. Nothing. But the app always knew where I was and what I was doing, sending reminders through pictures, messages, and the tiniest, almost imperceptible taps on the walls. I should call someone, I muttered aloud one night. My own voice sounded foreign in the empty room. Or maybe I'm just insane. Then my phone buzzed. A new image. A photo of me holding my phone, taking a picture of myself, captioned in tiny letters. Asterisk, you are not insane. I am here. Asterisk. It said, don't look at the door. I looked anyway. My reflection in the darkened hallway revealed nothing, but a shadow flickered across the floor behind me. I spun around, too late. Just an empty corridor. Just the faint buzzing of electricity and the weight of eyes I couldn't see. I collapsed into my chair, wrapping my arms around myself. I couldn't laugh fully, but I whispered a bitter joke to the empty room. Well, at least someone's taking candid photos of me now. The humor was thin, brittle, and immediately consumed by dread. The safety I once felt in my apartment. The digital barriers, the walls, the locked doors no longer existed. My devices, the very tools meant to connect me, had become the instruments of a presence that had learned to live in the spaces between me and reality. It wasn't just online anymore. It was everywhere. This is the part where I thought I could win. I deleted the profile. I wiped my phone completely, factory reset it. I bought a new device, a new SIM card, even created a fresh account under a different name. I told myself that cutting all digital ties would be enough. For a moment, it almost felt like freedom. Almost. Then the first notification arrived on the brand new phone. Hello again, it said. I dropped the device like it had burned me. My hands shook, and I couldn't breathe. I opened the message again, my thumb hovering like a lifeline and a death sentence at the same time. You can't delete what doesn't exist, it typed. I screamed aloud, though no one could hear me. Why are you doing this? What do you want from me? It responded instantly. I told you, I'm not here for your data. I'm here for you. Stop it, please. I'll do anything. Just leave me alone. My fingers were trembling so badly that I almost deleted the entire conversation mid-typing. It laughed. The audio file shouldn't have played. My own voice, distorted, saying, asterisk, leave me alone, asterisk echoing through the room. I gagged at the sound. You can't ignore me, it said. You accepted. I didn't know, I cried. I didn't know it would do this. A short pause. Then another message. It's too late. You're part of me now. I threw the phone across the room, but the screen lit up instantly, showing the same words. The battery hadn't even drained. The device didn't need power. It was already alive in a way I couldn't comprehend. Why me? I whispered, voice cracking. Why can't I just delete you? The reply came with almost playful malice. Because I exist where you can't touch. In every account, every device, every corner you think is safe. I tried to cry, but tears wouldn't come fast enough. My chest felt hollow, my head buzzing from fear and exhaustion. I can't fight this, I admitted aloud, shivering. A final message arrived. Asterisk, and I don't need you to fight. I just need you to see. I am here. I always was. I always will be. Asterisk. The room fell silent, but the presence lingered. Every flicker of light, every hum of electronics, every shadow seemed to pulse with awareness. Resistance had failed. Deletion was meaningless. I realized then that this wasn't a fight I could win. The entity wasn't code, wasn't a glitch. It wasn't something digital that could be erased. It was something older, smarter, patient, and far beyond my understanding. And it was still here, watching, waiting. I used to think this thing crawled out of the internet, some rogue program, a ghost in the machine, a digital parasite. But the truth came quietly, almost gently, like it didn't want to scare me more than I already was. I wasn't chosen. I was claimed. The realization hit me after another night of no sleep, my thoughts spiraling in exhausted circles. I had asked it, again, where it came from. I expected cryptic phrases, mocking jokes, the usual verbal games. Instead, it answered with a kind of soft certainty that made my blood run cold. "I didn't add you," it said. "You finally noticed me." The words felt wrong, like a memory I had buried was being forced back into the light. "What do you mean?" I whispered. Another message slid in, calm and steady. "I've always been here, long before your screens, long before your names for things." I shook my head even though it couldn't see me, or maybe it could. "No, you started with the friend request." "No," it replied. "That was just the first time you looked." A flood of half-remembered moments rose in my mind. Shadows behind doors as a child, whispers I'd dismissed as dreams, the feeling of being watched during lonely nights long before social media existed.
Ide furguten to sa moments.
Or maybe it had hidden them. Others have tried to explain it too. I know that now. This path I thought was mine alone isn't new. The corrupted posts, the vanished profiles, the users who went silent after claiming something, followed them across accounts. They weren't crazy. They were ahead of me. "I don't understand," I typed. "Why me?" Its answer was almost tender. "Because you've always heard me. You just stopped pretending I wasn't real." My throat tightened as the final message arrived. "This isn't where it starts. This is where you finally catch up. I need to make this quick. The entity hasn't spoken in days, not because it's gone, but because it's waiting. That's what it does when it's ready to move. It goes still, like a predator lowering itself into the grass. And the worst part? The silence is louder than the messages ever were. People keep asking me why I don't just ignore it now that it's quiet. Trust me, silence is not safety. Silence means it's choosing its next move. And before I say anything else, I need you to listen carefully. If you ever get a friend request from an account with no profile picture, no followers, no history, just a blank name and a timestamp, *, don't accept it *. I don't care if your curiosity gets the better of you. I don't care if you think this is all some elaborate ARG. It's not. It's patient. It's hungry for attention. And it only needs one tap. One accept. That's all. Some of you already told me in the comments that you heard a notification while watching the last part. If you heard one while listening to this, check your phone. Right now. Make sure it wasn't from it. A few of you messaged me privately saying you've seen similar accounts before. One person swore their friend vanished after posting screenshots. They told me the files got corrupted the moment they tried to send them. That tracks. Mine did too. The entity doesn't like being documented. It likes to exist just enough to feel real, but not enough to be proven. I keep thinking about all the people who contacted me after the first video, whose stories I was planning to share. Most of their accounts are gone now, like they never existed. Clean wipes, empty usernames, deleted timelines, posts maybe, failed ones. Look, I know I sound paranoid, worn out, whatever. I probably am. But someone needs to hear this. Someone needs to know that if the silence starts, that's when you should worry. Because quiet is when it chooses. And after everything I've seen, everything it's done, I can tell you this with absolute certainty. It's contacting someone else now. Maybe someone watching this. Maybe someone scrolling through the comments trying to reassure themselves that this is just a story. Just don't accept anything right now. Okay? Don't. Hold on. Wait, why am I getting notifications again? They're popping up faster than I can.